Immigration is a hot-button issue in Germany.
Wir haben in Deutschland einen Kontrollverlust bei der Migration.
Wir werden die Grenzkontrollen in Deutschland so lange vornehmen müssen, bis wir europäische Lösungen haben.
Das ist das Ende der gemeinsamen europäischen Asylpolitik.
Die Migration ist uns in den letzten Jahren einfach über den Kopf gewachsen.
Germany's new government is trying to show that it is making good on its promise to crack down on migration. It recently approved a bill to restrict family reunification for certain refugees and a draft law to end fast-track citizenship. But Friedrich Merz struck a softer tone on immigration during his first speech as German Chancellor in the Bundestag.
Die in weiten Teilen ungesteuerte Migration hat unsere Gesellschaft in den letzten Jahren überfordert. Ich sage gleichwohl in aller Deutlichkeit, Deutschland ist ein Einwanderungsland. Das war so, das ist so und das bleibt auch so.
But that may not be a popular sentiment. Not everyone believes that Germany is a country of immigration, despite people with a so-called migration background making up nearly 30% of the population.
Eine ganz klare Ansage an alle Welt: Die deutschen Grenzen sind dicht, liebe Freunde. Sie sind dicht.
That's Alice Weidel, the co-leader of the far-right Alternative for Germany. The AfD is now Germany's biggest opposition party. 1 in 5 Germans voted for it in the last federal elections. Anti-immigration sentiment is rising and causing immigrants to ask how long they can continue to call Germany home. A recent study shows that 1 in 4 immigrants is thinking about leaving the country. But despite that, many are still choosing to stay. That's also because of the upsides of living here, such as unemployment benefits, paid parental leave, and free childcare.
If you asked me maybe 2 years ago, can you see yourself living in Germany for a long time? I would say, yes, this is our home. But if it's following the trends that we see in other countries with the far right taking over, I think if anything, it would inspire me to finally get my German citizenship so I can vote and have my voice heard on that level.
The life here is good, the environment is great, and you get a lot of time for yourself. But at a more personal level, I feel like it is not something which I had imagined before I come here.
My expectations were only to come here for a year, work a little bit, gain more experience, and then continue to another country. And now I have already almost 7 years living here, so that I didn't expect.
My name is Chiponda, and I too thought I'd only stay in Germany for like 2 years. And after 17 years here, I became a German citizen in 2024. I've stayed mostly because I've enjoyed working and living here.
I'm Nicole. I've lived in Germany for 16 years. I'm the single mother to 2 amazing daughters, and I appreciate the work-life balance in Germany.
My name is Federica. I have been living in Berlin for 6 years. I started my own business here, and what I love about Berlin is the startup scene.
I'm Megha from India. I came to Germany 3 years ago thinking that it's a great place to be for an engineer, but I'm still struggling to find a job.
Germany is one of the toughest places to get settled in, and that's according to studies from organizations like the OECD or the Expert Network Internations. And your comments on our last video on skilled immigration showed that too. This was the most liked comment, and it got many replies as well. Most of you agreed that Germany is unattractive because of high taxes, expensive housing, low salaries, and the people too. Fair enough. But we want to look at why skilled immigrants are choosing to stay in Germany.
Yes. I was in a relationship and I was living in London, and when my contract was over, I didn't want to move back to the US. And so I tried to find a city within Europe where I could also find a job. And so I found a job in Berlin. Basically, love left a long time ago, but my career has been great. And right now I work for an American-centric company, American-based company, and most of my colleagues I don't think I have any German colleagues, actually. I think being a native English speaker has helped me out a lot in my career, especially as in the tech industry, a lot of the companies are international, and so the common language is English.
Same here. I only went for jobs which required excellent English, so I was competing with far fewer people. But cracking the job market can be very difficult even for skilled immigrants.
I am an electrical engineer, and I was working as a data analyst for 5 years, and I have worked with 2 companies. When I actually came here, I started my German course right away. But when I actually finished with it and I started to look for a job, the situation was really different. I had applied over, I think, 400 jobs right now in total, but you don't get a lot of positive response. I had a lot of expectation that, okay, I want to have this particular job and it should be more English speaking, and now the expectations have gone from, this high to really low.
Speaking of expectations, here's a reality check. Foreign workers in Germany earn significantly lower wages than German workers. On average, their monthly take-home pay is around 900 euros less than what a German employee earns. But there are some groups that earn way more than the average German worker. Take the average salaries for Chinese and Brazilian immigrants and those from other Western countries. Though in recent years, it is Indians who top the list of the highest paid workers in Germany, with a monthly net income of around 1,400 euros more than the average for Germans. That's likely because many Indians work in better paid STEM professions in the tech industry and engineering. But getting a job in those industries isn't always easy.
I really don't care at this point. I just want to be in the workforce so that I can have my old life back.
Bringing back the small responsible business era. It makes the sustainability verification process, they give everything.
Germany, it's like the European country that everyone looks up to. So if you have work in Germany and then you go back to Spain or to other countries, everyone will be like, okay, you have work in like grandes ligas. That's how we say it in Spanish. So I just wanted to have in my CV that I was part of like the big leagues.
Germany is the European Union's largest economy. It accounts for just under a quarter of the bloc's GDP. In a distant second comes France with 16%. Italy is in third place. Germany is Europe's biggest domestic market, and that's why it's still the place to be for so many people.
Through the plans.
When we were starting the business, we considered different places. We chose Germany because the ecosystem and the startup ecosystem is so wide and so open, and there are so many possibilities, financial helps that you can apply to, that it makes sense for us to start here.
Hola, bienvenido.
Obviously, Spain was a possibility because I speak Spanish and I have a Spanish citizenship, so it makes sense as well to start a business there. Then my co-founder and partner, he's from Uruguay. He has a company in Uruguay, so he knows how all the bureaucracy goes about opening a company there. It was another possibility.
And she's not alone. Immigrants and children of immigrants are twice as likely to start a business in Germany than people without a migration background, according to the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor.
When you're an immigrant, you have gained so much resilience for surviving all of the changes. And when you're starting a business, the number one skill that you need is resilience, because it's going to be difficult. When I decided to quit my job and start my own project and my own company, I was checking into things. What were the financial helps that were available to me? I applied to the startup grant. So it allowed me to receive some money from the state. I have always been very organized with my financial situation, so I had some savings to make sure that I could survive those first months. And after the third month, I started receiving the money from the Arbeitsagentur.
And that's why the tax burden and social security deductions are high. Salaried workers have to pay unemployment insurance. And that gives them the right to get unemployment benefits through the Federal Employment Agency if they've been working for at least 12 consecutive months. People without children are entitled to 60% of their net income, and a parent receives 67% of their net income for 12 months.
To know that the state was there to support and that there was financial helps available, that's the reason why I decided to do it. Because if this would have been in another country where you don't feel that support from the state, I wouldn't have done it, which is the reason why we chose Germany, really. I think mentally, it gives you some space and some tranquility to go if you know that there's like a support system around you, not only from the people that you know, but also like from the state, that there's things available that you can apply to. It wouldn't have been possible because I wasn't there if I didn't know that that possibility was there.
One example is what is called Gründungszuschuss, the startup grant. It's for people who are starting a business. Job hunters can also get help from the Federal Employment Agency, the Agentur für Arbeit. But it's not always smooth sailing.
After 2 meetings, it was Frau Mekan all over.
This is from
again.
Büblingen, right?
Right. So I have been to Agent for Arbeit, and I told them my problem. First of all, they don't have my profile in their internal system. They don't recognize this as a profile. I don't understand how will they ever help me.
They don't have a database of all the job openings in Germany. Only around 1 in 3 employers use the Federal Employment Agency's platform when recruiting.
In the news, you see always these days that Germany to call some 100 and few thousands, skilled immigrant from India. And then these notification and these messages I get from my family that, okay, they are looking for a skilled immigrant. You are a skilled labor. Why can't you find a job? What is the truth here? Are they really like looking to get more people? But what about the people you already have?
Mega was able to join her husband because he has an EU blue card. That's something we looked at in the last video, the skilled workers who qualify for a blue card. So how many blue card holders have brought their partners to Germany in recent years? The number of family members accompanying skilled immigrants with blue cards has been rising, and the vast majority of the spouses joining blue card holders in Germany are women. That's because more than 7 in every 10 blue cards are issued to men. At least that was the case for the 5-year period from 2019 to 2023. Workers from India are the leading recipients of blue cards.
If a skilled immigrant is coming here, of course, that person will bring his or her family.
They are saying
This and that.
we also talked to many people about it, and they also had some similar stories for whichever spouses they were in Germany, they were coming here. They also always have the similar story that they are not able to get up a job, and if they are getting up a job, this is not what they have actually studied or worked in the past.
So these days I'm very desperate. I can just go anywhere in Germany for a job. It doesn't matter to me if the pay is very good, it is making sense or not. I just need to have it.
Very important.
While newcomers with partners may struggle here, Germany can be a better place for immigrants with children because it offers more support for families.
Since I was a single mother, I was entitled to 14 months maternity leave paid. And then when I went back to work, I didn't go back full time. I went back 30 hours a week just to kind of get into the process of working and parenting. I didn't want to just, jump headfirst into a 40-hour work week.
The maternity leave Nicole mentions is actually divided into 2 parts. The first part is called Mutterschutz, loosely translated as maternity protection. It kicks in 6 weeks before the due date and ends 8 weeks after delivery. During that period, every employed mother who is insured receives her full salary, and there is no cap on that. Once Mutterschutz is over, what's known as Elternzeit, parental leave, kicks in. During that period, a mother is legally entitled to 10 months of paid leave during which she receives 65% of her net income. Men also qualify for parental leave. They get 2 months of paid leave during which they are also entitled to 65% of their net income. What I just explained is the most common way of taking parental leave, but there are many ways for partners to split it. And during that time, their jobs are protected, so they cannot be fired.
I was able to ease into work. There was no one looking over your shoulder you're leaving early already. I'm no, I work 30 hours a week and that's it. And that's all you're getting out of me. There was no pressure also from my employer, and it didn't slow down my career per se. I didn't have these huge childcare costs, or I didn't have that financial stress. My brother and his wife, they have 2 children. They don't have 6 weeks of vacation. They don't have the flexibility in terms of sick leave that I have. Health insurance is super expensive. I feel that their life is more stressful than mine, and I'm just one. But in terms of like childcare cost, I think I paid, I don't know, I'm just guessing, like 30 euros a month, where my brother and his wife would have to pay 1,200 sometimes a week for childcare. It's just a no-brainer.
There are a number of cities in Germany where childcare is free. Berlin, Munich, and Frankfurt are among those with free daycare. And even in cities where there are childcare costs, they range from around 300 euros to just under 500 euros a month. But even with the state support, parents need help to raise their kids.
Whoa. You don't want this? Having a chosen family and having a close network is important for every immigrant. It takes villages to raise our kids. It takes villages to support each other. Regardless of what companies put on the wall about their mandate or them being child-friendly, or even what the government says about, like, we encourage women to work, it really depends on that. It's also been my experience that working for a child-free woman, it wasn't very empathetic. It was kind of like, well, why do you get special treatment because you're a parent? Where I've worked for fathers and I've worked for mothers, and just the empathy is a little bit different. I mean, the culture of your team really dictates your individual experience.
And at work, women may even be paying a higher price for being a parent in Germany. Out of 29 countries, Germany ranked 22nd in the 2025 Economist Glass Ceiling Index. That's lower than France, Britain, Italy, and the United States.
I'm not working, so of course financially also I'm dependent on my husband, and these are not the things which excites you wherever you are living.
Have a nice day.
You too, have a nice day. For that.
Bye.
Before coming to Germany, I imagined that I would have my own life, which I was having earlier when I was in India. But after coming here, it has become more boxed in a way.
I think things are changing. I mean, I've been here 16 years and the process has gotten easier. I don't know if it's because I go equipped with lawyers or immigration consultants or translators, and I have this privilege of a job and a history of, salary. And so I don't know if they've gotten friendlier or the process has gotten easier or they've expanded their language skills, but it's definitely a lot easier than it has been when I first came here.
When you're doing any of this bureaucracy, you have to do it in German, you have to fill all of the forms and submit all of the documents in German, and that was a challenge for sure. And also, like in anything, the first time that you're doing something, you're just discovering it as you're doing it. So you are full of questions and who can help. But what I also feel is that there's a lot of resources and a lot of information available in the internet, from freelancers, from the government as well. And so you can always get the answer to the question that you have if you really look for it.
A lot has changed since I arrived in 2007. It's not just easier to come here, it's also easier to become a German citizen since summer 2024. But not everything that affects the lives of immigrants is changing for the better.
We do have everyday racism here, and people don't necessarily think it's racism, right? Like they just feel like it's normal, like the looks that we get or the stares that we get.
It's a question of safety sometimes. Like I have been a victim of intolerance and racism myself. I have to say it's not something that happens every day, and it is true that the majority of the people that I have met here in Germany are generally kind. But as intolerance grows, you start wondering if those situations could become more common.
More than 60% of Black people and Muslims living in Germany say they have experienced discrimination, according to the National Discrimination and Racism Monitor. And those perceived as being immigrants are most affected, whether they're actually immigrants or not.
I have no desire to go back to America, especially considering what's happening in America right now under this new administration. My families are immigrants. I was born in Jamaica. I immigrated with my family to America and now immigrating again to Germany. I didn't have a desire to go back to America for a while, but now definitely I know that America is not a place for me and my children. But it's also scary that Germany is kind of also shifting and following in those footsteps.
When you hear a political narrative speaking or rejecting people like me, you start wondering whether it is all really worth it. Because it's not only about having the legal right to stay here long term, which I have. It's also about knowing that a big portion of the population simply doesn't welcome you here. It's a bit disappointing, and it makes you question yourself whether all of that effort that you're putting into building something here, it makes sense or not.
I would imagine that new government would be here, and whatever reason, there are more job opportunities, and I see myself, soon to be working and meeting a lot of new people. But if things don't change, then eventually, of course, I cannot be waiting for everything to turn around for me, and then maybe I would like to go back, but Kaushal is doing good for himself, so it would be a difficult decision for us to take.
I too have asked whether I should stay in Germany or leave. Would I benefit from a fresh start somewhere else? Living somewhere is not just about work, it's also about family, opportunities, and a safety net. That's what Mega, Nicole, and Federica have shown us. And while the current political environment in Germany doesn't leave me feeling safer, I still feel very much at home here in Berlin. That is why I cannot see myself living anywhere else for now. So how welcoming do you think Germany is for skilled immigrants right now? Tell us in the comment section.